class of 2016. My name is Brian Gath, and I'm one of the pastors here at St. Paul Community United Methodist Church. It's my joy on behalf of the St. Paul family to bring greetings to you and to your families tonight. In the coming days, each of you, no doubt, will be the stars of your parents' Facebook feeds. As they brag on all that you have accomplished, allow me to brag just a minute on St. Paul. When the members found out that you were going to be having your Baccalaureate here, they set out to do all they could to honor you. Like many of us do when they're expecting company, we have been cleaning and weeding and straightening since the day that we found out you were coming. And then, like maybe only a church can do, they've been praying. They've been praying for you, for your families, for your future, for your safety, for your leadership, for you to see your place in this world, and for your courage to make it better. I really love St. Paul, and though very few of them know many of you, know that we care for you and welcome you here tonight like family. Welcome.
First, we'd like to ask that if you've not already done so, please silence yourself. I'd like to welcome the senior class, parents, speakers, and Indian administrators to Baccalaureate for class of 2016. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of the preparation for this event. On behalf of the senior class, I would also like to thank all teachers, coaches, parents, administrators, and friends who have helped guide and lead us to where we are today. You all have had an immeasurable impact on our lives, and we are grateful for your influence. When I moved to Indian Hill in 8th grade, I didn't really know what to expect. At that point, I never would have expected to meet so many people who will now be lifetime friends. Ever since I moved in, it has been quite the adventure, and I'm excited for all the adventures that are to come from our senior class. Now we'd like to continue this adventure of a lifetime with Anna Diefendyker playing clocks on the piano.
sonnet Heikolen, Memnisse, you ought. Perhaps one day it will be pleasing to remember even these things, to quote some of you are intimately familiar with. Oddly fitting as a centerpiece for my remarks here tonight, it's near and dear to some of you, so it's from one. It's from Virgil, from his epic poem, The Aeneid. The words are spoken by the eponymous hero Aeneas, a man marked by piety, torn from Troy, his home, now destroyed by war, wandering the sea, searching for a new home, some new beginnings. The descendants of Aeneas will, of course, go on to found a city called Rome that will take over Italy and the Mediterranean, and force everybody to speak a language that is now undeniably dead, that I am employed to teach. Thank you, we've come full circle. Thank you, Aeneas. Our hero Aeneas is a refugee, searching for a place to put down roots. Now, in a world where there are thousands currently around the Mediterranean, that very same sea, displaced by war and fleeing actual violence, let's be sensitive not to draw too strong a connection between Aeneas and ourselves, because there are those for whom that experience is now a harsh reality. Still, the context is fitting. Here you are, set to leave your homes, this safe place, to chart a new course. A course not without direction, but with a destination quite uncertain, fated. A few of you, for some particular greatness, maybe. But if our ancient stories are in any way a reflection of human condition, then we know fate, she turns in strange ways. In other words, expect to be blown around a bit and have to fight for what you hold important. Like Aeneas, you might be destined for some great things. If you are, know that your path is far from fixed. Relish the unknown, the foreign, and the uncomfortable. Though seemingly lost, Aeneas, he wasn't alone. He had followers, and he had something else, the Penates. These are the household gods. They represent his language, his culture, and his values. All that stuff that makes where you come from your home, not just a place on a map. Take that with you. The good stuff. Experience will surely change you, but don't forget where you come from. For sonnet Heikolen, Memnisse, you are. Taught some of you now for 3 straight years, and he asked me to speak to you tonight, presumably to give you some advice as you go. After 3 years, to be honest, I haven't got nothing that you haven't heard before. What I can do, though, is share something I learned from you along the way. And for that, we've got to return to our story. For sonnet Heikolen, Memnisse, you are. Perhaps one day it will be pleasing to remember even these things. That little word, et, even, seems to imply our current situation is one we would rather forget. And here we are at a celebration, a high point. It seems incongruous. The ceremony and applause are not what made you who you are. It's a struggle that defines you. And again, context here is key. At this point, our hero Aeneas is washed up on an unknown shore with his followers, or what's left of them, his fleet, decimated at sea by a storm stirred up by the hatred of Juno, queen of the gods. And it's at this point that Aeneas gives what's got to be the best halftime speech in ancient literature. He reminds his followers of the hardships they've endured, and he promises the hope of a brighter tomorrow. He knows in his heart that's doubtful. Okay, his experience is extreme. Yet, I've witnessed many of you, like Aeneas, choose the difficult path. You put obstacles in your way. You made it hard. You challenged yourself. At times, inspired like a competition of your peers. At times, just to see if you could do it. last year, I asked a handful of you to come on an academic journey with me. I made no promises that it would be easy. As expected, it was hard. But every time I pushed you, you gave me more in return. In fact, a few of you didn't decide to show me your best until I put you in that position where there was a very real possibility you weren't going to be able to do it. And it was there, in that place of doubt, that you shined, that you realized what you were capable of. Now, my experience with a few of you, though it's special to me, is not unique. It regards a large number of you in the room. So my lesson from you, and my advice, is raise the bar. Raise the bar for you. Put yourself in striking distance of those cyclopean rocks. Because if you're being crushed, it's what happened over there. You realize your vulnerability will humbly check your hubris. Shoot the narrows between silver and that other thing. Where there's a risk, a chance you just might fail. Where the danger on both sides keeps you on the right course. And when you've seen yourself through, you've made it to the other side, then you're in a spot to guide the rest. Raise the bars for others. So when you do, a few will look at it and say, I can do that. And then everybody else will follow. And then that expectation that you set will be the new norm. That's what I learned from you. So go on. Like Aeneas, it'll be hard. But like for Aeneas, you've got people on your side who are willing to help you when you're stranded on some foreign shore. Behind you, they're all here in this room. Then go build something eternal. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. For some I go, Memnisse you are.
lucky she's good at lacrosse. So. Anyway, the four of us were pretty good friends from the start of the school year, but throughout this year, we really gelled as a team and we became much more close. And two of us in particular became much more close. So anyway, to you guys, I'll miss our meetings in the morning with Mrs. Dillenberger. Thank you, Brad, for being the one who was always on time. You could admit that. I'll miss spending time with the entire student government, and thank you for an amazing year. You can sit down. So anyway, my mom says this one phrase all the time: do not compare with your siblings. And this has two main functions. A, it can be a legitimate way to promote my individuality and to make me feel good for being just the way I am. Or B, it can be her way to circumvent my observation that I take out the trash way more than Urgent does. But sorry, Mom, I'm gonna right now make a comparison with my siblings. So 4 years ago, my sister delivered a poem at Baccalaureate. She, being the oldest, was, I guess, what you could call the star child. She was one of the top in her class, a leader on the mock trial team, an amazing dancer, and basically the favorite student of every teacher she ever had. So, and then last year, at this exact time, my brother was performing at Baccalaureate as a part of premieres, and he was also, involved in so many theater productions. And actually, at this time last year, he was preparing his valedictorian speech to present on graduation day. So at both these baccalaureates, both the one 4 years ago and the one last year, I felt kind of a mix of emotions. I felt pride for my siblings, absolutely. I was proud of their accomplishments, but I also felt fear that I would not be able to accomplish exactly what they had. And to be honest, I didn't accomplish exactly what they had accomplished. I won't be delivering the valedictorian speech tomorrow. I abandoned that pursuit the first year of high school when Katie had already doubled my GPA. I haven't won mock trial awards. I've never been part of powwow. I've never done anything medical related. I'm not as organized as my siblings. I'm late just about everything. I get distracted, forget things. The list goes on. And about a year ago, I felt ashamed of myself for this. I felt bad about these different qualities. But it's taken me this past year specifically to realize that I don't need to be exactly like my siblings. In fact, I'm happier when I do the things that I personally enjoy, such as being a part of student government or making random digital art on my computer. That's just one of my hobbies. It took a major shift in my attitude to finally accept my personality and my many different interests and to make the best of them. And as you may remember, my brother delivered an absolutely exceptional speech at graduation last year. One of the best I've ever heard by far. He prepared and practiced for the 6 weeks prior, and it's taken me time to realize that I have certain limitations that don't allow me to start that early. I'll be honest with you guys, I procrastinated and I started writing my speech 6 hours ago. So, and that's one limitation that I've come to accept. I basically operate on that timeline now, doing things kind of last minute, but I'm trying to fix that a little bit because college is not going to let me do that. So anyway, my advice to you from what I've learned personally is to focus on understanding your personality and especially your flaws so you can do what you enjoy in the future. As my dad has said to me on many occasions, if you are doing what you truly have a passion for, success will find its way eventually. In other words, it's totally okay to disagree with me on this one, but don't try to pursue something that you find boring just so that you can make the money. Or go ahead and pursue it, but try to supplement it with something that you do find interesting. Because in the end, contrary to the words of 2 Chainz and Lil Wayne, money does not buy you happiness. So that's my first piece of advice. Understand yourself so you can know your limits and eventually do what you enjoy. And understand that by doing this, success will eventually follow. Another significant thing I've learned in high school is that getting sidetracked is not always a bad thing. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this topic in particular, and I thought about it so much that I even wrote my Common App essay about this topic of distractions. So obviously there are examples of when getting sidetracked for you guys can be negative. For example, if you're studying for an exam and you find yourself scrolling through Instagram or watching Netflix, we all fall into that trap at some point. But then there are those times when getting sidetracked actually leads to some amazing things. For example, in our Latin class with Mr. Atwood, we've had some of our best discussions, and the best discussions that I've ever had have been in that class, on topics from society to astronomy to our personal lives. And those are actually, those conversations come from getting sidetracked. Those conversations stem from something that we heard in the curriculum. And we just kind of had this snowball of random ideas. And these were the best conversations I've ever had. And they came from not actual Latin, well, they stemmed from Latin content, but we weren't actually talking about them, I guess. But I'll let you know, Mr. Atwood. Those conversations, I think, bettered my education more than I can say a lot of these different things we actually learned in school have. So thank you. And I guess in life, you have the option to follow a linear fixed schedule. A lot of times, people worry that deviating from this path is a bad thing. But my second piece of advice to you is don't freak out if you find yourself deviating from this path. Because sometimes the best things in life come from not being productive or not doing what you're supposed to be doing at a given time. So I guess my point is, don't worry if you get sidetracked every once in a while. And my final piece of advice, or I guess it's more of an observation, is that we really don't change. Yes, we have changed a lot physically and mentally since middle school, unless you're Rohit. And yes, we learn a lot more. And some aspects of our personality certainly do change. But for the most part, our major personality traits and our major characteristics stay the same. So I have a memory actually from first grade that for some reason has stuck with me through all these years. We were in Mrs. Arnold's class. I have the 2005 first grade yearbook with me to actually just list off the people who were in the class. So this was Mrs. Arnold's class with Catherine Anning, Charlie Combs, Abby Favell, Jeremy Gibson, Robbie Green, Eugene, Laney Meese, Jeremy Morris, Matt Newman, Megan Snyder, Kelly Teese, Emily Wentz, and a few others who have left. But in this class, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had the gumball machine that was on the wall. And every time someone did something good in class, we added a gumball to the poster that was up on the wall. And at the end of this process, once the gumball machine had filled up, we got a class prize. And at this specific time, Mrs. Arnold's rabbit had just passed away, unfortunately. So I'm not a bad person, trust me. So her rabbit had just passed away, and we had two options. We could have either A, gotten a new class pet, as our prize, or B, had a brief ice cream party. And a class pet is pretty long-lasting. A class pet is something that we can play with and have fun with for a long time. But sure enough, our class goes for the ice cream party. And I just remember that was the worst mint chocolate chip ice cream I've ever had. It was melted and it was disgusting. But the point is, that happened in first grade. Just a few months ago, I don't remember exactly what class it was, but we were offered, for winning a game or something, we were offered either extra credit or a food party. And I'm sure, my topic right now being the fact that we haven't changed, I'm sure you can guess what we chose. We got food. No extra credit. So that's one example. Another one that I'm sure everybody remembers because it actually significantly affected us was had to do with the middle school bathroom. Wait, let me just find my spot. Sorry, I kind of just deviated from this. Anyway, I'll just go free-handed for you. So this was up in the middle school bathroom, and I'm sure you guys all remember Mrs. Kim Miller, I believe, was our principal at that point. She was pretty upset with the amount of liquid that was on the floor and hadn't made it into the toilets. So I guess as a class, we got some penalties for that. She addressed us several times at lunch and kind of scorned us. And the point is, even after all of that, sorry, Mrs. Miller, but we haven't changed. I can walk into the bathroom and expect the same thing. So congratulations. But anyway, all these are just some minor examples, but in general, major personality traits don't necessarily change all the time. These personality traits actually make us who we are, these ones that don't change. They make us who we are, they make us unique, and they make us memorable. And this is so amazing because at our 50-year reunion, if we have that, I'll be able to see in Anna Fernandez the same radiance that I see in her today. I'll be able to see in Isam Chaudhry the same sly mischief. I'll be able to see in Katie Garrettson the same kindness, and I'll be able to see in Eugene the same derpiness. So that's my third and final piece of advice. Don't try to change too much. You're unique, and your personalities make you interesting. And in general, you're all pretty awesome the way you are. So before I go, as a symbol of my procrastination and a way to raise my grade in Latin 4 percentage points, I present my last piece of homework ever to Mr. Atwood. And I'll warn you, this is certainly not my best piece of work. So thank you for listening attentively, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
8 people still owe me this piece of work. Grades are due at noon.
I am truly honored to be able to share this evening with you. Each class, and I've seen lots of them, as Mike Moore and Julie Kiss can tell you, two of my former students who are now parents of current students. I've seen many classes, and yet each one has its own particular stamp. As I began to replay this past year to put words to the stamp of the class of 2016, I was having a little bit of difficulty. I wasn't really recalling specific events, but rather emotions, vague emotions that were hard to quantify and label. One of my favorite poems, Tintern Abbey by William Wordsworth, came to mind. In this poem, Wordsworth reflects on meaningful relationships and determines that, and I quote, "Little unremembered acts of kindness constitute the best portion of a good man's life." And I will add a good woman's life as well. It is those seemingly small acts of kindness that I want to focus on tonight. Certainly, I will remember you for your many rewards. Mock trial, DECA, outstanding powwow performances, and many, many, many sports achievements. While impressive, those are not what the relationships are built on that I will continue to value after you graduate. Perhaps you don't remember the little things you did each day to bring joy to those around you. So let me bring a few to light. They may not have been intentional acts of kindness, but they have made a lasting impact. Who didn't laugh when the tractors pulled up for our last senior breakfast? And yes, Keisha, now I know you have a long history with food. So what about those breakfasts? It was a great way to start the day. Not only was the food delicious, the camaraderie that I saw was heartwarming. Watching Grant fry bacon and Carter taking charge of the cleanup, or Cam forgetting to get his mother's griddle. Mrs. McMillan, I still have your griddle. I have seen many senior breakfasts over the years, but you surpass the norm in your interactions with one another. In a world where texting and social media threaten to minimize face-to-face interactions, you defy the norm. You have empathy for others, and not just for their suffering, but for their everyday feelings. I have never had so many thank yous as I have received from you. In fact, I hold evidence. I just received one tonight from the Baccalaureate committee as I walked in. I had a thank you note after the senior trip. Your concern for my daughter when she was ill. All were acts that might be unremembered by you, but have made my year a wonderful one. And I saw the same spontaneous generosity toward others. It would have been easy for you to let winter homecoming die. Frankly, the adults had decided that millennium students were no longer interested in such events. But you decided to put forth a gargantuan effort to create an event that would bring the school community together. I marvel as I remember the tireless and selfless efforts you put forth to overcome the obstacles of having the dance. Yes, I am talking about a high school dance, but it is so much more than just a night out. You put in countless hours, not to gain recognition for yourselves, but rather to bring our school community together. Yours was the first class to pull off a senior t-shirt order in the past 10 years. Again, a seemingly insignificant feat, but one that will stay with you. And coupled with the many other experiences and acts that you have engaged in, that experience will stay with you for the next 10, 15 years and beyond. You will remember these as some of the best days of your lives. I have no doubt your goodness and kindness will continue to make a difference in the lives of others. As I recorded the results of your senior projects yesterday, I was struck with how many were done with others in mind. Coaching youth soccer players, teaching Cub Scouts fire safety and camping, working with middle school students, pet adoption, big brothers and sisters, working with special needs students, bringing awareness to the issue of race in our country, feeding the hungry in Cincinnati, raising awareness of the Holocaust, making a memory quilt, and creating a video of the senior class. In a few minutes, your class will recess to the song Adventure of a Lifetime by Coldplay. When I asked my third period class why this band appealed to your generation, they responded, "The songs are emotional and they use real instruments." I then understood the attraction. You are emotional in all the right ways. And most definitely, you are real. I will close with words from Coldplay's song that are emblematic of your class. We are legends every day, diamonds taking shape under the pressures of life. May you continue to spread your joy. Thank you.
everyone for coming and for all the wonderful speeches and performances we were able to hear. Before we end the night, we have one announcement. Tomorrow, graduation will be live streamed on the IHGN YouTube channel. The stream version will not be the same as the DVD Blu-ray copy. Those will be edited and graphics added to make it a memorable keepsake. Once again, thank you to everyone who helped in the preparation of this wonderful event and to all who spoke and performed. We look forward to seeing many of you tomorrow on the graduation ceremony. Now, with the class of 2016, please rise.